State Representative and Vice Chair of the House GOP Caucus, Shelby Slawson of Stephenville. Thank you so much, and welcome to Ion Politics.
Thank you. I'm glad to be with you.
So, how did the session go, in your opinion?
Well, I am so pleased to be here at the official end of the session as of just a few minutes ago. We accomplished a number of things that are very important to the people that I serve back home, and I am so excited to come home to them with some meaningful wins in property tax relief and support for our schools and our students.
And overall, as a session, how would you think? I mean, were there disappointments? Were there bills that you did not get across the finish line that you were hoping to get across?
Well, that's kind of the nature of the work down here is I'm one of 150 members. So of course there are other things that Shelby Slawson would have liked to have seen cross that finish line. And I think that would be said by the other 149 of my colleagues as well. But at the end of the day, we came through with meaningful investment in infrastructure, like the water concerns that are shared all throughout our state. The voters will have a chance to weigh in on that in November, but I think that we have accomplished a lot of what Texans want to see us do.
I spoke with your counterpart on the Democratic side, House Democratic Caucus Chair Gene Wu, and he said that this was a rough session. And he felt that Democrats are going to be enraged, when they vote next year. What's your reaction to that, and what do you think the Republican response will be as far as the voters are concerned?
Well, I would think naturally Republicans and Democrats are going to have a different view on how this session went. The things that I and my voters will consider wins are probably not the things that Representative Wu and his constituents might view as wins. But at the end of this session, when I go back home to my district and we have over $44 million new dollars coming to our public schools who desperately need that help, that's a win. That is absolutely a win.
And as far as I know you mentioned some of the items, property tax relief, school funding, et cetera. What are some of the other big wins that you think Republicans can campaign on?
Well, just today, Jack, we were able to pass in the House judicial pay raises, and that is going to impact our benches all throughout the state. It was a difficult issue with a lot of people on different sides of it, not because of the judicial pay raise piece, but we go home supporting a judiciary that then is charged with enforcing the laws that we have passed while we're down here.
There seems to be a difference in opinion among Republicans. Some are saying that the budget is too high, the state is spending too much money, and property tax relief didn't go far enough. What do you say to that?
Well, nearly one out of every $4 in the budget is directed to property tax relief. I would love it if we could just spend more money in that direction, but the reality is we have a lot of needs in this state, and it's a growing state. We have competing interest in the district I serve with the employees of our TDCJ facilities that are desperately in need of a pay raise so that we can keep good men and women employed in those facilities. We have caregivers that serve our intellectually disabled community who are desperately in need of pay raises in order to continue serving that very vulnerable population. So we do return to the voters with a hefty increase in property tax relief for our senior citizens. They will see a bump in the homestead exemption up to, if they're over 65, up to $200,000. Many of the voters that I serve will see their school property tax wiped out by that property tax exemption, and that's significant relief for them.
I also wanted to ask you about Senate Bill 3, which is the ban on THC. It turned out to be, obviously, at the end of the session here, very controversial. And while it passed, those in the hemp industry and those who use these THC products that are going to be banned are really urging Governor Greg Abbott to veto this. And so I'm wondering, where are you on this issue?
So I voted in favor of SB 3. It is a difficult issue. insofar as it impacts any of our businesses. But it is not a difficult issue to the point that it is a product that is unfortunately been made available to children in this state. We had testimony in both chambers about the health impacts that have been suffered by Texans who partook in those products. And at the end of the day, we don't want any product like that to threaten the health and well-being of Texans. Now, a concern for many of us in the House chamber was that at the same time, we want our veterans to be able to have access through the compassionate use program to products that are prescribed to them by physicians. And the concern was that we weren't going to address those in parity at the same time. But at the end of the day, the House did and the Senate reach an agreement on the Teacup program. And we are very pleased that our veterans will continue to have access to them.
Do you think Governor Abbott will veto this or sign it?
Well, that's a little bit above my pay grade, Jack.
And let me ask you just about Senate Bill 8, which requires jails across the state to work with immigration authorities and sign up for the 287G program. I know Republicans, I think, all down the line voted for this. Why do you think it's so important?
Well, a secure border is of critical importance to Texas. We are, of course, very excited that in the last 5 months, we have seen a dramatic shift in the security of the southern border. We are very excited as Texans to see a budget package in DC that could potentially mean the return of dollars to Texas for what we have spent in recent biennia on our own border security. But uniformly, within our part of the caucus in the House, we were in full support of the federal administration and how we can work together to ensure that Texans are safe, because if we are not safe, we are not free.
All right, State Representative and Vice Chair of the House GOP Caucus, Shelby Slawson of Stephenville. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Jack.